And so I saw this, and I went, wait, what do I know about E. coli? I know it's one of the first bacteria ever engineered. I know in the mid-'60s or early '60s, you just pull up manufacturing process of aspartame. The military engineered one that would eat toxic waste. They worked on a lot of bacteria that'll do that, like the oil-eating bacteria, but this is different. And I remember the report, and you can pull it up, where they took it and then what it excretes, it's waste. Bacteria, use the bathroom as well. Their excretia is this highly toxic, addictive, sweet substance. Like antifreeze is sweet. Everything sweet isn't good. So they couldn't get it approved until 1981 when Rumsfeld got it approved. Now, then I remember the virus sprays that they spray on meats they approved 6 years ago on E. coli. Live viruses that eat them, that destroy them. And so I know that E. coli is one of the most engineered bacteria out there. And they've engineered it into plants and all sorts of stuff. And so I said, look for this to be some big agri-disaster or something that got out of a lab, because they were reporting by Friday that it appeared to be genetically engineered. Well, Mike Adams, great researcher over at naturalnews.com, joining us via video Skype. Forensic evidence emerges that European E. coli superbug was bioengineered to produce human fatalities. That's the newest article today. Yesterday. Today, he's got Food Wars, how European health authorities are using E. coli scare to wage economic warfare against vegetable farmers. He joins us now.
Well, you're exactly right, Alex. You've laid it out. It's classic problem, reaction, solution. They're using it in every area, but especially in agriculture. Every time they want to pass more food regulations, they engineer another disaster, and they create a fear campaign. And there's so many agendas that they can then pursue with this fear. It's not just to enable them to enact new food regulations and tyrannical legislation and crack down on small farms and, raid the Amish at gunpoint and things like that. So this is an act of economic warfare on that front. It's an act of biological warfare against the innocent victims who are now being harmed by this bacteria strain, which is clearly been bioengineered, and we could probably get into more of that evidence.
By the way,
Alex,
2.5 years ago, we broke down that the flu was engineered, and because we had documents previous when they engineered the H1N1, hiding in plain view. The London Telegraph article where 30 homeless people in one place given the shot died. The live bird flu virus that killed the ferrets in the vaccines in 12 countries where they did the test. I mean, we have this long history, and you have thousands of biotech companies splicing bacteria with animal, insect, top experts saying it can give rise to mutations. And then immediately when we see some, and the media is saying it appears to be genetically engineered, it's been altered, they try to blame farmers for it, and then it always comes out later it's either something that got loose or was manufactured, or it's something that mutated. I mean, I know you've written about the virus spray they spray on meat that attacks the E. coli.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible what they're doing here. We're watching a circus of fear-mongering. They screamed cucumbers, and everybody stopped buying cucumbers. Then they screamed tomatoes. Then they screamed lettuce. And it's like we're watching a circus of health regulator lunatics who are running around destroying food industries, destroying the economics of farmers. A Wall Street Journal broke this article, which we just wrote about also, that says it's not the sprouts. Just until this morning, they were blaming the organic sprouts from northern Germany. Well, they ran tests on that, and the tests all came up negative. So it's not the sprouts.
That's the key. They keep blaming a string of organic industry.
Right. They do, and the media in the UK was printing quotes from people based on this fear who were saying, oh, I'm never eating organic again. Well, that's the reaction they want you to have, because they want you to be afraid of vegetables. They want you to be afraid of small farms. They want you to be afraid of fresh food, because then you'll buy processed dead foods that keep you sick and keep you a customer of the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, notice you go over the evidence of this. I mean, this stuff has resistance to everything. Go over your articles.
Well, you're right. There's something called a genetic analysis of the E. coli strain. And genetic analysis is actually quite advanced from a technical point of view. You can determine what the strain was exposed to in its history to create the current strain. And when you look at this, and that was done by the Robert Koch Institute in Germany, their scientists broke down the genetics of this E. coli strain. It's called O104. And if you look at it, you can read the history, and the history doesn't lie. This strain was exposed repeatedly to all the 8 major classes of antibiotics that are sold by the drug companies today. This practically guarantees that this is going to cause acute kidney failure, that it's going to cause fatalities in the hospitals. And in fact, this particular strain was engineered with a couple of extra genes that give it even more power. It's like a super powerful, deadly super bug. And the fact is, Alex, this could not have been created randomly in nature with some kind of random mutation. Impossible. It had to have been engineered and then introduced into the food supply in some way. I don't know where it was introduced. We don't know that yet. The story is still developing. I know you're covering it. Well, effective. The public who isn't aware of all of this, they don't understand the dynamics. They don't know about problem, reaction, solution. They are so easily hoodwinked that this tactic works for the global elite. So, of course, they use it over and over again every time they want to pass a new regulation or clamp down on another freedom or convince people to be afraid of something. They can simply engineer it. And now the evidence of this engineering is in the genetic code of the E. coli itself. You can't argue with that. It's written in the DNA. Now, why isn't the mainstream media reporting this? Well, once again, because they're on the side of the global elite who are trying to fool people into thinking that fresh vegetables are harmful to you and that we need more clamping down on small organic farmers. That's the opposite of what we need. We need more local food, small organic farms, and less processed, mechanized, factory-made foods from the mega farms. And let's be clear
why they get radiating of the food passed. Why the 6 years ago they got it passed to spray live viruses that, quote, eat the bacteria. They admit it so they can feed you rotten meat, but radiate it so the bacteria aren't live, but you still get the toxins they've excreted. They come out with the vaccines, live vaccines, a virus bath. The name of the virus in Latin is translated as bacteria-eating virus. The phalanges, they spray those on there. And if you're a new listener, folks, I'm not joking. Just search FDA approves bacteria-eating viruses to be sprayed on meat. And then that gives rise to mutations, just like antibiotics overuse makes the bacteria get more and more hardy. But this one's had a bunch of stuff added to it out of the clear blue, with the media then blaming all the organic farmers. Notice, no big agribusiness. It has all the telltale signs of the frame-up, and they just continue to do this, Mike. It's horrible.
Well, a lot of people don't realize this has been going on for such a long time. For example, you can't buy raw almonds grown in America anymore. I know you covered this, Alex, but some of your listeners may not be aware of it. The FDA and the California State Almond Board came in and said you have to fumigate or irradiate the almonds to effectively kill them before you can sell them to American consumers. And why did they do that? Because raw almonds are a type of superfood. In fact, they contain an anti-cancer element that's part of an anti-cancer formula used in Chinese medicine. So one by one,
in minutes, and see if it's that E. coli strain. They don't care. They knowingly every day throw out a new thing to scare everybody. But don't worry, we've got GMO that's safe. We've got irradiated produce, which they're now starting to do. We've gassed all your produce with sodium fluoride gas. Everything's okay now. We've killed all the food so it's safe. We've taken that raw milk. We're taking that cheese from raw milk. We're taking all those vitamins and minerals from you, and we're going to give you McDonald's food that doesn't even decompose when left on a plate for 6 months.